Welcome back, guys. We are here at the LCK regional qualifiers for the 2020 World Championship for League of Legends. Currently, Gen.G are smacking down T1. It is a 2-0 lead so far. And Gen.G have just been the cleaner team tonight, and they have really racked up the kills so far. They're one game away from making it into Worlds, and T1 are one game away from dropping out. So they're going to have to pull off the reverse sweep if there is any hope of them making it into Worlds. We'll see who does come out ahead. How are you feeling about this one so far, LA?
I'm feeling pretty bad, Valdez. No one really enjoys 3-0s. Not the viewers, nor the casters, nor the players. Well, unless you're on the winning team, then I think then
yeah,
you probably do.
Some people enjoy it.
You probably do enjoy the 3-0. But the manner in which these games are being lost, I just tweeted between the break. T1 are disadvantaged before the game even starts, but even when they do start getting some advantages inside of the games, they are constantly blundering it a lot more than Gen.G are. And so Gen.G are just looking all around more crisp, more well-rounded, and everything just seems a lot more stable for them, and it looks like we're getting no substitutions. I don't even know if any of the subs are there today, by the way. There doesn't seem like there's a lot more desks that maybe would have been available or anything, but we're going to start the game off with a Volibear ban. Followed by... Oh, what? Ah, shit.
By the way. Well, there's still a chance. You still might get your Volibear, but so far it's, again, no Ashe, no Lucian, no Caitlyn, and Kalista is going to be banned off here. TF. And will they take out Volibear, or will they ban Ezreal again? Because Ruler's Ezreal was looking, in fact, pretty strong. No, it's going to be the Azir, actually.
Well, it's going to be... B1 Volibear, see?
Yeah.
I had it.
You were just really far
ahead. I was just really far ahead, yeah, actually. Leak script. Ooh, Lilia and Renekton insta-snapped by T1, and we'll see what they can manage to do with it. Lilia is probably a champion that can help shore up some of the problems that they're having because she forces the team to play in a different way, which is, in a weird way, something they need right now. Middle lane being hovered, this would guarantee that Volibear is going to go top lane against Renekton, and that's a winning matchup, and we saw that Rascal was decimating it in game number 1. Kana really close calls on barely managing to get away, and Set, yet again, it just feels like Gen.G are smacking them with the same exact thing over and over, and T1 don't know how to draft to punish it.
Yeah, it's almost like they're saving their other strategies for Worlds. It's like, yeah, we don't want to show anything here, so we're just going to use this comp. It keeps working, so no reason to swap it up. And there's Orianna. It's going to be the response. Faker is going to play a third unique champion in this series.
There's anti-synergy already with the champions. Lilia doesn't like Orianna being on her team, and then Orianna doesn't like Lilia as a jungler. So things are already very strange. Renekton is trying to do different things than Orianna and Lilia. Now you can obviously make the argument that Renekton and Orianna have synergy because you can put the ball on Renekton, he can go in, and he can try to make something happen. You can argue that Lilia tries to follow that up. The problem is, the thing that Orianna is weak to is the same thing that Renekton and Lilia are weak to. And so doubling down on that when Gen.G can just respond to it becomes very worrisome. And now we see a Senna ban away, which is interesting because we talked about how Senna in game number 1 could have been used to amplify the engage and dive that T1 could have been going for, but maybe they're going to go for an Ezreal.
Kai'Sa ban. We did see Ruler playing Kai'Sa, and, you know, I suppose with a lot of the CC on the side of Gen.G, you can just try to jump on in there with the Volibear in the set, alongside Nidalee. And what is going to be the final ban here? They targeted Effort's Pantheon, which was quite interesting. They didn't like the global effect, I suppose, of the ultimate. And it will be Karma that gets taken off the board.
It's probably, yeah, Ezreal R4. We saw this coming with the Senna ban, and then obviously the Kai'Sa, I think, almost confirms it. Now, this is where things get interesting, because what marksman is Gen.G going to try to take? Now, If they lock in Aphelios, this is good news for T1. They have Orianna, they have Lilia, they have late game Ezreal that can be very good against him, but instead, Echo.
Ooh. Tristana.
A long-range mage like Jinx, or long-range marksman like Jinx or Tristana, obviously, in late game, is very valuable here, especially because you can R the Orianna target away from your teammates. That's a little bit more of an upside.
Aphelios, though. And they will lock it in, so this time around, Ruler says, let me show you a thing or two about the Aphelios. We'll see how this works in the composition, as Alistar is going to be the choice here for effort.
In a pretty odd turn of events, I feel like T1 actually have the better edge in this draft, and it came when their last picks were face up. I feel like going into the last two picks for both sides, Gen.G had a lot better options available to them to continue to layer T1 inside of the draft phase. But R4 Ezreal comes in, Aphelios is walking into Orianna, Lilia, and Ezreal. That's going to be very hard for him to conduct himself. And Echo now trying to run into the opponents when they were trying to run into you is also a little bit bizarre. And the Alistar comes in as a vacuum answer to the set, but also a lot of good setup for his teammates, a lot of good synergy with the Orianna, a lot of follow-up with the Renekton, and a pretty good body blocker for those primary three that T1 need to protect. I think this is the first time, Beldas, T1 walks away from the draft with probably a lot more options than Gen.G.
Well, sometimes you roll the dice, and it goes straight to the number 6, or at least you roll a 4 over a 2 or something like that. Either way, these are going to be the pick bans for game number 3. And LS has already told us that it seems like this might be the best chance to try to come back in the series. We've seen reverse sweeps happen before. It's not very common though, but we'll start with one. We'll see what they can do. If they can actually put up a good fight up against Gen.G, who have been in total control of this series. As here we go, back onto the Rift. And I find it funny too that BDD hops back onto the Echo that Faker was playing earlier on in the series. Up against BDD, so maybe trying to show him a thing or two about the Echo.
Well, BDD has probably the most iconic play in 2020 from LCK, if you remember the 5-man Echo stun.
The guy is, he's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty good, indeed.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we could probably take one game from him out of 100. But, yeah, the guy is insane. And I'm really curious to see what he is going to do on the Echo this time around. Definitely a lot of moving pieces on the side of T1. So it'll be hard for them to group up as 5, I would imagine, and get hit by that. But we'll see.
And Ruler coming in here, looking maybe to scout out the area, place a ward. Okay, he is going to place it. And Clid gonna do a solo start in his red side jungle, Lilia. Gonna be on the other side as Elam is gonna clear the Raptor camp very quickly as Lilia. Not a big deal. Move into red immediately. And Nidalee, Clid's actually just going to start the red right away. So they have the ward on the left-hand side. They know that Lilia's not immediately advancing in to the blue side jungle. So things are pretty fine for them right now.
Yeah, for sure. You can see here, there's one of these numbers on the bottom that really stands out. It's the 0-3 Aphelios from Ruler. He was definitely one of the 80 carries that didn't play much Aphelios, even when he was really strong, and also didn't have much success when he did play the champion. So it almost feels like a little bit of a challenge, you know? It's an awkward composition for the Aphelios to handle, plus he's not had very great results on it, so Ruler coming out here and challenging himself in game number 3, when there were definitely some other choices that may have worked better. Kind of just gonna eat that. Doesn't seem too concerned.
Saving his shield breaker for the Volibear E. Ends up just going through all of that. Now, Ruler and Life, they're going to come over here. They're going to help Clid steal away the blue, and this is actually very big. This is going to stun Elim a very great deal. Normally, this doesn't happen in this matchup, and it looks like they're actually going to push on. Oh, man.
Maybe steal. Oh, okay, it's going to hit Elim, but not a huge deal. Clid now could get in there and steal the Gromp, but it doesn't look like he wants to with all of that pressure that they had going. Rascal looks like he's pushing really hard, just wants to get out of this lane as Kana was handling it. Out comes Elim. They know that Elim is not on the bottom side of his jungle, so got to play it a little bit safer up there.
And Elim looking for maybe a gank of some sorts. He's going to be able to get a lot of damage onto Rascal. There's a lot of MS. Wait, what? What?
What? Rascal, I'm gonna need you to hand in your Polar Bear card now. Nice amount of damage onto Ruler here, who is just being owned in the 2v2. Gen.G now are getting smacked down by T1. We got the double teleport coming on in. We're gonna get on top of Gumayusi, but life incredibly low. Will actually survive. Oh, as King Kong, we're back at it again. Effort going to bop Rascal towards his team. Flashes on in. Not sure that they have damage, as the stun will come in, and actually now Kana is going to be the one that eats the death.
Okay, it's not over yet.
Faker going to get in
here with
the shield, and
yes!
Does he have the damage? Finally is going to get it. Okay. Has to flash over the wall. That's double summoner to get on in there and get the kill, as BDD is just sitting in the middle.
And Elim, meanwhile, up in top lane. I mean, he's going to push in the wave, and he should be able to get this crash into the turret, and so that's a lot of lane EXP that he's going to be able to pick up for himself. It's going to help him remain relevant. But a little bit of a fiesta unfolding down, obviously, in the bottom side. The wave does not crash.
Ooh.
Oh, my...
LS's worst nightmare. This is perfect, actually, for Rascal. He's going to get up there right on time. And I didn't want to watch this again, actually.
Yeah, I don't understand why he didn't flash the enhanced damage on the W and then just make it out. Face breaker there into the Alistar combo. Gumayusi goes forward, gets the kill onto Ruler. And then I thought at this point they would start kiting towards the right, especially into Kana, but he kites down towards the south. Now, Life actually spaces very far away, not wanting to get recomboed by effort, but he eventually gets there. Does the facebreaker onto Kana. Lightning Storm comes down. Faker comes in with the teleport. It almost looked like they were actually just going to kill Faker as well, but not quite enough damage on set to make that happen. Clid now wants to start up the Infernal Dragon.
And looks like he should be able to get this pretty easily. They have a nice push going down in the bottom side. Lilia's nowhere near that dragon, so it's just going to go over the way of Gen.G, and of course, Infernal would be really nice to pick up as a singular Drake. Obviously, a nice amount of damage in their composition to be enhanced. And Rascal, with the two kills that he did pick up, he goes back and gets the Bramble Vest and is having a pretty fun time up against the Renekton now.
Everything is still somewhat stable, pretty much, inside of this game, even though Gen.G are certainly ahead with how everything does stand. Bit of a CS lead in mid lane, as well as a big EXP lead because of what Orianna did. She recalled down into bottom. She did get a kill, but BDD was able to stay in mid and get all those minions. And Clid now, he is down in EXP. Almost does have the jungle item complete. Top lane is just going to get worse and worse between these two. Polar Bear is going to get definitely a little bit stronger as things go on. BDD is... I mean, look at the...
Oh, boy.
No, he could freeze here if he wanted. Orianna doesn't have teleport. He could just freeze and then reset on the next minion wave and leave it frozen and then come back to it. And Orianna would be in a very doomed spot because you can see the vision on left side river and even right side river. It would be very hard for Faker to break that, and now even his ultimate's on cooldown, so he has even less insurance. But BDD shoves it out immediately, not electing to want to go for a recall, and so this is actually going to give Faker a little bit of control in the lane as he comes back, because BDD does not have teleport available.
Yeah.
Rift Herald.
Rift Herald's pretty easy. Take here for Clid. Faker just now getting back to the lane, and that will go their way. So both first big objectives going into the hands of Gen.G. The Infernal Drake and the first Rift Herald. Definitely really nice stuff. LM, he's a little bit angry. Someone angered Bambi. Rascal taking an aggressive trade now up in the top side. Thinking about going in on this one, but not quite gonna go for it. Looks like Clid once again getting pretty aggressive in the enemy jungle. We were able to steal the red a little bit earlier on. And is just getting in there and warding things out.
And Kana in a bit of a dangerous position. You can see all the members coming up. He has Dominus available. He's going to pop it early.
Yeah. So clear the wave. See what he can do. Not really going to have a good time. It actually gets over there. But I think the damage is just too much, and Rascal is quite a beefy boy even already. That is going to be the 3-on-1. Not fair, they were bullying him, but either way, they do pick up the kill up in the top side. Faker, meanwhile, gonna do kind of what BDD did the last time around, and Faker roamed bottom side and looked to get some of these plates.
You gotta give it to Kana, though. He managed to CS the entire wave, and so you can see this actually hurts Rascal in a bit, because he's not able to get any turret plates. Had Kana just died and all of the wave was there, Rascal would have gotten 2 turret plates. That would have been 320 extra gold in his pocket on the recall. And I have to wonder if that would mean something like coming back to lane with Sheen and Phage, rather than just a Ruby Crystal due to inventory space.
Oh, effort on the roam, the flash away. This is 3-on-1, this time onto BDD. Tries to get over to the Nidalee, but not quite able to get in range for the heal. So down he goes. Nice little collapse from T1 to actually strike back and pick up a kill onto BDD. As the trading continues up in the top side, Rascal, he had a fun time of it in game number 1. He's gonna have a fun time of it in game number 2, or game number 3, I suppose this one is. But the second game he goes into this matchup, especially as he got an even better start this time, dodges the bowling ball, and they'll just say, okay, you got away this time. Lilia, quite strong herself, has a couple of kills already, so LM looking to try to carry this time around.
And this is the closest I feel like the game has, or the series has been in an individual game at any point. You can see Orianna is getting very big inside of this game. The Renekton is very far behind, but that doesn't really matter. He's Renekton. All that he is a ball service, pretty much, regardless. He's just there to serve the ball.
Yes, indeed. Of course.
Or the balls, if Lilia's ball matters.
Exactly. True. Well put. And, yeah, I mean, he's pretty far behind, so you're not really going to expect too much else from the Renekton. Just try to survive and essentially just play the weak side and let the rest of your team try to do the carrying. You've got Faker and LM pretty far ahead, so perhaps this will be their game to go ahead and do that. Rascal, though, still very scary up here on the top side. By the way, we know it's not going to be a Cloud Soul this time.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see if it does go to Ocean or Mountain. Feels like those could be very game-changing. We will have a lot of action around those Drakes.
And Rift Herald is summoned here in mid. We're going to give the gold over. And this is going to put them at a 1,000 gold advantage. We have Proto Belt first item for BDD. He's endlessly shoving the wave in over and over. Meanwhile, up in top lane, I mean, Renekton's doing a pretty good job. He's currently taking the Krug camp to try to help out his jungler as well as himself. Here we go.
Look at this collapse from T1. They're going to get on top of Ruler really easily. It's 1 teleport to 2 as well. Gen.G need to get out of here. looks like they should effectively be able to. The ultimate will be denied by Rascal, who hops out of there. Now, decent amount of damage was done to T1, but it's still 5v4. Gen.G, though, not willing to just run away from this one. VDD is going to be spotted.
And that's Cloud Drake. That attacks very fast and shreds the HP down.
Absolutely. Nice amount of poke is coming out. They're trying to get onto that back line with the stun. It does go down onto Kana, but the Cloud Drake will go the way of Gen.G, actually, as BDD being chased down here. Yeah. And he will eventually be taken out. Not much help for him to receive, but the Cloud Drake is stacked up here on the side of Gen.G. The 1-for-2, the 2-for-1, I should say, in favor of T1 after all that.
And through it all, T1, they're only down now 200 gold. Lilia is also massive with 3 kills in this game right now. We take a look at how this all transpires. So LM comes out of the brush, really surprises Ruler. He's not able to do anything, and Aphelios is a very important piece to their puzzle. Rascal, it almost looks like it's just flatulence there as he ulties as Orianna's shockwave goes off. Like the sheer force given by Volibear.
The shockwave.
Here, LM does lose the fight to Clid. BDD goes off with the Echo ultimate, but not able to really get to any safety, and so the game, I mean, it's still very, very even between the two.
Absolutely. It was the Drake to Gen.G, but it's just one singular Cloud Drake. Gives them a little leg up if they're trying to stack this this soul very fast, but certainly a lot of the members of T1 are getting nicely fed. They're having a good feast, a good dinner, now at around 7:30 here in Korea. And, I mean, they've got the Ezreal, who's nearing his 2 items, and his 2 and 1. We've got Faker, already with Seraphs on the way, 1, 0, and 3. Well, that's not what we're looking for. This one, we can't even blame on just clearing the wave. Just going for that one, trying to poke him out, and will miss.
And ends up missing there. A little bit unfortunate. Not the end of the world, though. 600, 700 gold lead still for Gen.G, but remember they have the Infernal Dragon. And so there's a little bit of amplification being given over there. 2.5 minutes until that Mountain Dragon comes up. That's a very important dragon. The thing I'm worried about at that Drake is, if you look at the timing relative to Gumayushi, I don't believe he'll have Miramana available, and that is a very big item spike timing. Now, they do know that Clid is down here.
Well. Yeah, we got 4 members of T1 hanging around, but they're just going to take down the turret and go ahead and back away. Faker actually missing some of the wave in the mid lane at the meanwhile as TP coming in. Gen.G looking to collapse, but not going to be the easiest play in the world. Over goes the set. They just want to get on top of Gumayusi, and they will do exactly that. The kill also, importantly, into the hands of BDD's Echo.
Yeah.
So nice little play there, using the teleport to pick up the kill.
They use that to get the kill. They offset the reset on Gumayushi, and he's actually going Trinity Force for this game. Faker lands an ultimate onto Rascal.
Spotted. Yeah, Rascal does have his teammates coming up here, though, so you can see T1 just trading a bit and then running away. Not going to overstay their welcome. And Faker, you know, say what you will about some of his ultimates. Is doing a really fantastic job of farming. 170. He's got the highest in the game, and is going to pick up a needlessly large rod already. So just stacking up as much AP as humanly possible.
This is going to be a very interesting situation here, as Gen.G should be in a very commanding position to get this Mountain Dragon in just a minute. Ruler should be able to have... Oh, wow. Gumayushi does have Miramana. Completed at 17 minutes, so he managed to pass the Ezreal minigame. But because he's going for that Trinity Force, he's not going to have the 2-item spike that would have been so oppressive, especially because of Iceborne Gauntlet. In a early game fight, the armor value as well as the extra mana converts to more AD when you have the Miramana. in your pocket as well. Seraph's Embrace already completed there on Faker. 30 seconds until this Dragon Eye Edge has been finished. Mikhail's on Nidalee as the first item. It's actually not going to be the Athenes.
Huh.
And so, very, very supportive Nidalee build here.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the enemy team. I think it's really mostly for Lilting Lullaby. Obviously, Renekton can get in there too.
Oh!
And by the way, not having a fun time is looking to get solo down. The flash comes out. Rascal's still going to get in there and pick up the solo kill under the turret as everything's happening over here. VVD is trying to get in through the backside. Ruler gets a massive ultimate, and they have so much damage. They take down Gumayuki. As the flash forward, that was a little bit confusing. Ruler thinking they were closer than they actually were, but they're able to push them away. And this is going to give the Mountain Drake and put them on Mountain Soul point after that play.
And it does look like the Gen.G, they're going to pick up the Mountain Drake. And look at the amount of MR on Clid that's about to get amplified. He's at 108 already. This is massive against Orianna, Alistar, Lilia, even Ezreal to a certain extent. Because Athenes is still going to be picked up. Let's take a look at this solo kill here. As Rascal, he is up so much over Kana. He turns off the turret. Even the minions were getting in on this a little bit. Ends up having to flash at the very end, but still gets him. Watch Life's engage here for some effort again, man. Doing it, starts the fight onto Life. It is, I don't know. I have nothing nice to say about it. And T1, they're forced to just eventually disengage. Like you were saying, Ruler thinking that he was a little bit closer than he was and that T1 was closer. And Gen.G, this game is so in their favor right now. 2,500 gold lead. Earth, Wind, and Fire currently as the Dragons. Mountain Soul is just 4 minutes away. And when they get that, Lilia, Renekton, they're basically being invalidated. There's no pen on Orianna. She's not going to get pen for a while. She's going for the Spellbinder as the second item. This is really problematic for T1.
Yeah, it's a massive problem, and it's not one that's going to solve itself anytime soon, as you were just mentioning. And I think probably Gumayuki is going to have to step it up here. It's asking a lot of a rookie player. And I was actually surprised that Teddy didn't come in for Game 3. We were talking about how we were expecting subs, or we thought it would be a good idea from the side of T1, but it's been the same comp, the same 5 players, all 3 games, no changes. And we'll see if it works out for them, because definitely under a lot of pressure here in Game 3 once again. Light gonna X-Flash over the wall, look for a potential play. And, well, not able to get too much. Looks like Gumayuki is, he's, pretty concerned about that brush, so not gonna get caught out there.
2.5 minutes until that mountain comes up. It looks like Zanya's Hourglass might be the next item actually by Clid, not the Athene. So not doubling down on the superior healing in utility. We're gonna get the Zanyas. And that is gonna mean that 12% amp to armor and MR is gonna be quite nice, even for that little bit of armor that Zanya's Hourglass does give, but the utility is gonna be very oppressive. When this turret falls, we are nearing a 4,000 gold lead approach by Gen.G. Lichbane almost completed on the Echo. Runon's already available for Ruler. Things are looking pretty grim. We got Black Cleaver coming in on Kana for the majority magic damage team comp. But there's not much to talk about right now. We're in a lull state. All the jungle camps are down. There's no objective up. So of course, obviously, we're just looking what item spikes are coming in next. Where are people going with items? Seems like Faker actually not going to go with Spellbinder. So interestingly enough, he's going to pivot into Rabadon's Death Cap and try to maybe complete that before this Mountain Soul fight. And that'll give over a lot more of EHP anytime that he shields an ally.
Definitely the fun part about going the AP stacking build with the Seraph's Embrace into the Rabadons. as you're mentioning. The shields get pretty massive. But the one thing they're missing is Pen. Even has Merc Treads, so all of that stacking with the potential double Mountain Drake is just going to be so difficult for him to chew through. And we'll see what he can do. Even the QSS picked up now by Ruler, so he's got a bit of MR on top of it, as well as abilities to get away from a lot of different things. He's essentially got double cleanse because of the Nidalee Mikhails on top of that. So very well prepared for this fight that is about to break out. We're just 40 seconds away from the game that, or the fight that could decide the game as well. We'll see what happens.
Well, we will see if T1 can manage to pull it back. They have 30 seconds. I don't think Faker, even though he has the Amp Tome to sell, I don't think he's going to be able to get to it. And another thing I'm worried about is Lilia's not going to be able to get to Leandre's either. The resets are not there. No Black Cleaver for Renekton unless he's going to recall right now and TP into the fray. Maybe he'll have it available. But if this is the case, if this is T1's last hurrah with these stunted items, Gen.G are actually, they are way further ahead than the gold graph at the top would otherwise suggest because they have their items completed.
Absolutely. And it looks like Ruler just going to aggro the Mountain Drake. He's trying to pull it over and maybe get on top of that one. Take a look at the positioning. Actually spotted by the ward. BDD looking to flank. Rascal in a really awkward spot, though. In goes BDD. They're trying to get on top of LM as Rascal will go away. But there's the Mountain Soul going the way of Gen.G, which is massive in this game. T1, they get life, but that is it. And even 5v4 without life, I think Gen.G have a chance to take some fights here. So T1, they're looking for some value on the map. They're just going to try to get these turrets in the mid lane.
Well, I don't know what T1 are doing. They seem panicked. They're just randomly in mid right now. They're still on double needlessly large rod. Haunting Guy's blasting wand. They need to recall and get their items. They're trolling.
Oh, here we go. LM gonna take a big chunk of damage. Over the wall goes the Nidalee. That was a little bit aggressive. They're trying to get on top of Gumayusi, and they should be able to do it. BDD is getting into that backline and will take him down. Rascal and him going 2v2, or 2v3 rather. BDD is going to put up the stopwatch, but the chase is still on. Ruler incredibly strong right now, just gonna chunk through LM like he doesn't even exist. Down goes Faker, and there's just not much left standing here for T1.
I mean, Valdez, it is absolutely looking like it's over. 99.99% of the time, this game is going to go the way of Gen.G. They're going to get the Baron. They have what is going to be a 5,000 gold lead at the end of this. Mountain Soul picked up with two mountains, so not quite 3 like what happens sometimes. It doesn't matter. 12% amp. All that EHP given over. This one looked pretty good. Almost. Gumiyashi looking like he was going to be able to steal a kill onto Rascal, but it just doesn't matter in the end. Mountain Soul goes over. T1 arbitrarily group up in mid lane like they are seemingly lost without a compass. I have no idea what they're thinking here. And Gen.G are probably thinking very similarly. What are they doing? Ellen literally stops and turns to hit Scuttlecrab as if they're ever going to stop and hit it. I have no idea what is going on.
Yeah, I mean, it was confusing, right? I was saying, you know, T1 are desperately trying to find value after just giving over the Mountain Soul and not really able to effectively confront Gen.G at that objective. And Gumayusi is, you know, he's got that Hex Shrinker, thankfully, but BDD is quite the assassin at this moment in time. Well, okay, there's Dominus. Rascal's like, okay, I'll just walk away. Up 2 levels. Not a big problem for him, and Gen.G are on the doorstep of Worlds right now. This is a big sweep if they could pull it off here, and it's looking likely as they push to take this inhibitor.
Well, it does look like this might be the final pushes as Gen.G are looking to go to Worlds as the final seed from the LCK. We'll see what happens. Here we go. next?
It's looking really likely. They're just taking down everything. The tutorial victory. And you got even Rascal pushing up on the top side. Could just group, I feel, in mid, but they want to take it slow. They want to be safe. There's so much on the line for this game, as we have continuously mentioned. VDD just going to come in here, zone them out as they take down the third inhibitor. And again, they are quite literally on the doorstep of making it into the World Championship if they do win this game. Ultimate is down from Ruler, but he doesn't seem to care. The chipping comes in, and Gumayusi is in the front line for no reason, goes down, not able to stand up to the power that is Gen.G. Really nice combo, Shockwave coming in, but it doesn't look like it's gonna matter. They get pulled in, and Gen.G will be making it to the World Championship of 2020 with the 3-0 sweep over T1. Absolute domination here in this final round of the regional qualifiers. Ruler gonna give Rascal a little slap on the back, and absolutely deserves it for their domination here in this series.
And it was a massacre, even in game number 3, which should have been T1's biggest chance to win. Gen.G just really showed that they are all around better, from the drafting to the gameplay to the laning phases. Quite literally everything they do was just better in all of the games. So they're gonna go to Worlds. There is the flag. See you at Worlds. And this is gonna be very interesting to see Gen.G at Worlds, because I stated that out of the other teams that was not Damwon, Gen.G's approach to the game of being solid and stable can be very good in a Worlds environment, where things can get very chaotic and things can be very problematic, and you can see that the T1 players are not looking very happy with how everything transpired.
It's, you know, that's a rough defeat. We really got to highlight, as I think that's Arnold, actually. Yeah, there he is on screen, comes in, gives a victory, looks like coffees. His teeth. No cake in the face, as it is obviously a massive victory, and they will be making their way over to Worlds. All happiness, lots of clapping over here on the side of the victor. Gotta feel bad for T1. We will not be seeing them at Worlds, and this certainly felt like a year of LCK where we wish we had 4 seeds.
Yes.
You know, there were 4 teams that were quite obviously better than everybody else. We called it the top 4, the elite 4, all year round. They would always defeat everybody below them. Like, Afrika was there on the doorstep, but they couldn't quite be considered as part of that top 5. And it's really unfortunate that we will lose one of them, and that it does end up being T1. So it's going to be Damwon, DRX, and Gen.G for the Korea region at World.
And I like that you reiterate about the top 4, but even at the end, Afrika actually almost making runs, almost as if they belonged in the top 4. And if we were going to phrase it like that, then Damwon is definitely Trainer Red, because they are just a tier above basically everyone else, and they're going to be basically the champions of LCK that probably everyone that is a fan of the LCK is looking forward to seeing at Worlds. As Gen.G, this was a massacre, and again, if you remember the DRX series, they were destroying DRX in those games before the Great Pause.
Games 2 and 3, it was like, okay, Gen.G is going to Worlds. Like, I remember watching that series, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, okay, Gen.G up against Damwon, it's all going according to what we expected. And then, no, DRX were able to utilize the Great Pause. And again, we mentioned before, it would have been interesting to see DRX up against T1 in this gauntlet final. And I know that you and I are pretty much on the same page and thinking that Gen.G is the second strongest team from Korea to go to Worlds. And I think they proved that over the course of 2 best-of-5s against, you know, some of the other really strong teams here in Korea. So very excited to see what they can do alongside of Damwon and DRX. DRX at the same time kind of feels like a wild card, you know, where it's, you know, they're really strong. Obviously, they have insane laners, but can be a bit inconsistent. So excited for them too. As we're just going through some of the highlights from the game. This was Gen.G's victory and it was pretty clean. You know, there were some moments for T1 in this game as they were trying to desperately pull off the reverse sweep, but once again, Gen.G got the better of them. I think that Gumayusi looked a lot better yesterday, to be honest. I think he was a little bit more comfortable. The pressure was really on today, and Gen.G knew to strike at the young hearts, the rookie players of T1 as the top lane as well. I mean, kind of got bodied for the majority of this series. Rascal, incredibly consistent, and was able to get the better of him most times.
And I mean, I feel like even if you look at the 10.19, which is going to be the world patch, Gen.G not really going to be affected by too much. I mean, Azir does get nerfed in that. But I think that Gen.G's approach to the game right now is going to be pretty good for the world stage. I am looking forward to seeing how they will do in the tournament. I think they've truly earned it after tonight's series, because I don't think there's anyone that can doubt that they are just an entire tier above T1.
Absolutely, and it was proven tonight that was the case. And it's insane to think that Damwon are then just yet another tier above even the Gen.G and the DRX. So really excited to see again what these teams will be able to pull off at Worlds. It's going to be a really fun time, really looking forward to it later on this month. As we're taking a look at the damage charts, turns out that Volibear is, you know, he got ahead in the early game, remember guys, and just made the laning phase once again so difficult for Kana. Wasn't much that he could do as the teleport advantage was real, and Rascal was able to get very far ahead from there.
Yeah, I mean, it was never able to really get anything going. This is why I'm always confused sometimes when the question marks come up in terms of draft priorities. I mean, we saw T1 constantly going into it. We're going to go to the interview, though.
Yeah, let's hand it over to Ji-Sun for the translation.
Congratulations, Gen.G, for qualifying for Worlds. How do you feel, Odin? Well, I'm sad that we had to go through this gauntlet, you know? We are the number 3 seed, but at the same time, it feels awesome to qualify for Worlds. Yeah, that loss in the playoffs round 2 was a big bummer. However, you guys came back even stronger. So how did the preparation go, and how did you overcome that loss?
사실 그날 4, 5세트는 저희 다 잊었어요.
We just forgot what happened in game 4 and 5 on that day.
오늘은 저희 할 거만 하면은 다
We solely focused on our own play for today, and everyone did a great job with confidence. I think that's the kind of mind control that players and team needs in order to win the series. So let's move on to BDD with the flowers. How are you feeling, BDD?
저희가 플레이오프 딱 지고
After we
너무
lost in the
침울했는데
playoffs, we were super depressed.
다 같이 잘 뭉치면서
However, we kept our teamwork and we got our mental fortitude back, and I'm happy that we're able to secure this kind of result. BDD, it's been 3 years since you made Worlds. Must mean a lot to you. Especially, I mean, now all the teams have locked in to Worlds. Who do you want to face up against at Worlds? Any mid laners specifically?
일단은 만나면은 중국
Well,
팀 LPL 선수들
LPL players,
만나고 싶고
LPL teams.
뭐 올라가서 DRX랑 꼭
And
한번
also, I wanna remake up against DRX as well.
DRX랑 어디 정도에서 만나면 좋겠어요?
Which stage do you wanna meet them?
DRX랑 4강이나 결승이나
Semis or finals on a big stage.
갚아주고 싶다. 그렇죠.
BDD definitely wants to get his revenge on DRX, and we have this official BDD report card time. How do you rate your own performance today on a scale of 10? This is your final one in the domestic league. How do you feel?
오늘은 기분 좀 내셔도 괜찮지 않을까요?
일단 평소에는
Well,
그 질문이
usually
무조건 올 거라고 생각해서 생각을 했는데
I'm always ready for that question.
일단 오늘
So
3경기
for
개인적으로
today,
라인전에서 좀
I
아쉬워가지고
think I underperformed
1.5
during the
점
laning
하겠습니다.
phase in game number 3, so I want to give 1.5 out of 10 for me.
네, 롤드컵에서 혹시 그런 질문을 받으면 그때는 최소
If
8점
you
이상 나오기
get
바랍니다.
asked with those kind of questions at Worlds, I hope you can give yourself
네,
higher than
롤드컵에서
8.
8점 좋은, 네, 좋은 플레이 해주시기 바랍니다.
Sure, thank you.
그 옆에 라스칼도 네, 자리하고
Rascal,
있습니다. 네.
볼리베어의 화신.
the god of
그렇죠.
Volibear.
라스칼도 2017 시즌 이후 3년 만에
Also,
이제 주전으로
you
이제 처음
are
온 것 같습니다.
coming back
네, 소감
at
말씀
Worlds
부탁드릴게요.
after 3 years, and now it's your first time as a starting top laner.
힘으로 이렇게 롤드컵 가는 게 처음이어서
This is
되게
my first time to
기분
make
좋은 것 같습니다.
Worlds with my own
오늘 볼배
hands, so it feels very
그렇죠. 어찌
valuable
보면
for me.
볼베가 요즘 탑으로 어쨌든 많이 이용되진 않는데
Volibear
정말
is not the
멋지게
top
활용하는
tier
모습이
champion
계속해서
on the top
나왔어요.
lane, but
그쪽
you are
중심으로
popping
오늘
off
준비를
on that
해오신
pick. Was that the focal point preparing for this series?
네, 볼리베어랑 좀 이 레넥톤 두쪽
Volibear
챔피언에 대해
and
자신감이
Renekton.
많이 있어서 좀
I was very
이런
confident
구도가
in
나오면은
those
좀
two
많이
champions,
자신
so
있었던
I was also really
어.
confident in that matchup.
방금 얘기하신 내용을 토대로 생각을 해보면 이제
Based on your
본인이
answer.
레넥톤을 잡았을 때 볼베 상대로 자신 있다 뭐 이런 얘기인가요?
Are you also confident playing Renekton into Volibear?
바꿔서 해도 자신 있는 것 같아요.
Yes,
사람의 문제.
I'm confident
기량이
playing on the other hand.
선수만이 할 수 있는
그렇죠.
얘기예요.
네. 챔피언을 타는 게 아니라 파일럿 중요하다. 알겠습니다.
그렇습니다.
So,
네,
Rascal
좋은
indicating
analysis
that Pilot Matter is not the champion. And moving on to life.
처음이죠?
This is your first time at Worlds, right?
라이프 월드가 처음이죠?
Yes.
네. 자 그럼 이제 소감이 이제 첫 롤드컵.
How are you feeling? This is gonna be your first Worlds just around the corner.
첫 롤드컵이라서 떨리고
Because
너무
it's my
좋은데
first
꼭
Worlds,
팀원들이랑
I'm so happy and I'm quite nervous, but I wanna win Worlds with these teammates.
뭔가 좀
당연한 말씀입니다.
울컥하는 것도 있는 것 같아요. 라이프 선수. 라이프 선수에 대해서 요즘 코칭 스텝이나 선수들의 칭찬이
And a
장난이
lot of
아니에요.
players and
그래서
coaching
기량이,
staff
예,
기량이
have been
만개했다라는
praising you,
그런 얘기를 듣고
claiming
있는데
that you are now performing at your prime
그런
level.
느낌을 받으시는지
Do you
궁금합니다.
also agree?
저는 항상 제가 제일 잘한다고 생각하고
I always
재혁이
think that
형도
I'm the best
잘해서
player, and also
저
Ruler
다 이길
is
수
a
있다고
great
생각하고
player,
있습니다.
so I think we can win anyone.
룰라 조합은 무적이다.
그렇죠. 특히
Ruler, like
세트를
definitely the
연속으로
lane
풀어가지고
kingdom
라이프가
duo,
상대편에게 정말
on the
본인의
bottom
세트
lane.
매운맛 보여줬거든요.
and
이거
you are
월드-
doing a fantastic
어,
work
월드
on your
챔피언십에서
set.
통할 수 있겠습니까? 본인의
Can you
세트,
also
자,
pilot
월드
that
어떤 모습 보일
with
건지 각오
confidence
부탁드리겠습니다.
at Worlds as well? What's your mindset going into Worlds?
세트 웬만한 팀들 모든 팀들 다
I
이길
think
수 있는 자신 있고
I can like defeat
재혁이 형이랑
any
함께하면 다 이길
teams
수
on my
있어요.
set, especially with Ruler.
이게 또
재혁이요.
서포터의 마음. 네.
That's a true mindset of a support player.
그러게요. 네. 그러면 뭐 바로 그냥 같은
And let's
바텀이니까 네.
move
이제
on to Ruler then, the
크리스마스
bottom duo
잠깐만
partner.
있다 할게요. 예. 자 바로 이제 룰러에게 마이크 좀 부탁드리겠습니다. 예. 재혁이 형과 함께라면 누구든지 잡을 수 있다 그런 얘기했습니다.
Life just said that he can take down any team with Ruler together. And it's been 2 years, Ruler. How are you feeling? Making your comeback at Worlds.
되게 준비하면서 스트레스 너무 많이 받아가지고
I got so
피부도 막
stressed
계속
out
안 좋아지고
during the
막
preparation.
너무
My skin
피곤하고
also got
그랬는데
irritated a lot.
좋은 팀원들이랑 이렇게
But
롤드컵
thanks
갈수
to
있어서
my
좀
great
많이
teammates,
기분 좋은 것
I'm
같아요.
happy that I'm able to be at Worlds with them.
재혁이 형과 함께라면 같이 인터뷰하면 좀 재혁이 형이 좀 약간 이렇게 동생 혼내는
So,
모습이 여러 차례 있었는데 이렇게
sometimes
잘 챙겨주는 네.
Ruler, you've been a little bit mean against Life, but any word of compliment over to Life this time around?
듀오를 같이 하게 된 건 좀 작년부터인데
I've been
그때
playing
되게
together
많이
with him
서로
since
안 맞는
last
것도
year,
많았고,
but
좀
yeah, we were
혼도
not
많이
on the
내서
same
사이도 안
page, and I kind of
좋았었는데
yelled at him a lot last year.
좀 가면 갈수록 좀 이렇게
But as
친구
time
서로
went
신뢰도
by,
많이
we
생기는 것
kind of
같고
trusted each other
그냥
more and
누굴
more.
만나든 그냥 다
And
이길
whoever we
자신이
faced,
그냥
we
점점
had
생기는
this
것 같아서
confidence
너무너무
that
좋은
we
것
would
같아요.
win. So I mean, this cannot get any better now.
친해요?
Are you guys friendly now?
그냥 작년에는 좀
Well,
되게
last year,
서로보단 제가 많이
I
혼냈다고 볼
think
수
I
있는데
kind of scolded him a lot, yelled at him a
좀
little bit.
그러다 보니까 저를 많이 안 좋아하더라고요.
So he didn't like me then.
근데 이제 그냥 가면 갈수록 서로 엄청 잘
But
맞아서
as
그냥
we
뭐라-
solidified
뭐라고 할
our
필요도 없고
teamwork,
되게
I
잘해주고
didn't really
저도
needed to
그거에 좀 자극받아서
yell at
열심히 하게
him,
되는
and
것 같고 되게 좋은 것
also he
같아요.
also got a lot of motivations, and now it's all good.
네, 그래서 또 젠지의 바텀하면
Gen.G's
이번
bottom
시즌에 정말
view
주역이라고 봐야 되고 이번
was a
시리즈에서도
key
사실
role.
되게 의식하는 듯한 느낌도
And
많이 들었잖아요.
you know,
벤으로도
in this
그렇고.
series, there were a lot of target bans going up against the bottom players. Now you guys are heading to face the world-class players. So, is there any player that you're wary of?
사실 그렇게 생각은 나진 않는 것 같아요.
Nothing really comes up to my mind right now. I think we can beat anyone.
라이프와 함께라는
Together with life, definitely, you guys are gonna pop off at Worlds.
패스를 죄송합니다. 이제 클리드
And
선수와
Clid.
나누도록 할게요. 자, 클리드 2년 연속 월즈. 그렇죠.
Now this is your second straight Worlds appearance. How do you feel?
이번에 선발전을 제가 처음 하는 거긴 한데
Well, this is my first
팀원들이랑
experience
좀
at the
더
Worlds
재밌게
Gauntlet.
가는 것 같아서
But
되게 기분
I
좋은
think
것
I'm
같아요.
happy that we were able to go through this process with my teammates and very happily.
선발전의 젠지 확실히 이렇게 느낌이
So
좀
did you feel the
오시던가요?
force
뭔가?
of the
뭔가
Gen.G
좀
at the
강하다.
gauntlet?
그래 이길 것 같다.
Like you're just gonna win for sure?
근데 뭐 저희가 아래부터 올라온 게 아니라
I mean, we didn't
좀
really start at the
경기에서
bottom.
약간 여파도 있고 그랬는데
And also,
저희가 좀 약간 잘 추리고 한 게
we were able to come back after the loss that we
네.
experienced, though. I think that was really crucial for us.
원하는 대로 경기 잘 풀어가면서 완승을 거뒀다라는 생각이
Gen.G was able to pick up a clean win in Game 3, but Game 1 and 2 was getting back and forth.
어떻게 전황 판단을 하고 있었는지 좀 궁금합니다.
So how did Gen.G kind of see the whole situation?
또 좋아하는 것도 느낌도 있었지만 약간
I mean, we
저희가
definitely
좀
like to take
코칭이나
fights,
그런 거 판단력에서
but we
좀
also
실수할 때가
made some
있어가지고
mistakes,
그것만
being
좀
a little bit too
하자고
greedy and making
얘기하다가
decisions. So we tried to work on those mistakes.
꼭 한번 여쭤보고 싶었던 건데 이제 클리드 선수도 LCK를
And I
대표하는
really
정글러 중에
wanted
하나예요.
to ask you about this because you are representing
정글러들의 역량에 대한
jungler of the LPL, but there are a lot of premier junglers outside of Korea, like LPL, other regions. So who do you want to face up against at Worlds?
뭐다 각각 나라 선수 정글러분들이
Every player from every region has their color, their play style. I think they're all very good. And I lost to Yankees a lot last year, so I wanna get a rematch.
시가문 클리드 선수 응원합니다.
이번에는 결과 좀 달랐으면 좋겠습니다.
Cloud Templar, wishing him the best of luck. And
그리고 켈린 대표 잘하고
let's
있는데,
move on to Kellen,
만들어주겠어요.
standing next to Ruler.
See you at
일단
work.
형들 진짜
네.
너무 많이 고생해서
My teammates, they definitely
말씀하세요.
형들 진짜 너무 많이
was
고생해서
working so hard,
네,
and they were
다
struggling a lot.
고생했다고 형들한테 말해주고 싶고
네.
So I want to say thank you for your hard
저도
work.
롤드컵
You did a
준비
great
잘해서
job, and I
대회
will
한번
also
나가고 있습니다.
prepare hard for Worlds and
자동으로 나오네요.
appear at the World stage.
자 마지막으로 코치 두 분과도 톰 코치도
And the coaching staff,
굉장히 또 LCK 팬들
Tom,
입장에서
a very familiar face to the LCK fans.
그렇죠.
It's been a while, Tom.
탐나는 인재다.
그렇죠.
라는 얘기를 많이
A lot
들었어요.
of teams
근데
actually
젠지가서
wanted to
보여주셨죠.
pick him up
코치로서는 처음
as a
보여주죠.
coaching staff.
그렇죠.
I think it's his first Worlds as a coaching staff. How do you feel?
이번에 진짜 선발전 지면 되게
Well, had we
우울하고
lost
되게
this
진짜
gauntlet,
또 어제
we would have
힘밖에
been
못 잤거든요.
super
선발전
depressed because I
치러지시면
couldn't sleep well last
진짜
night
큰일 날것 같아서
because
그래도
I
다행히
knew I was
선수들이
gonna be
되게
in a huge
잘해줘서
trouble if
3대0으로 깔끔하게
we lose this
이겼던
game.
것
But thanks to our players performing so perfectly, we were able to get a clean victory.
사실 코칭 스태프들은 좀막그 조바심 나고 애도타고 막 그랬나 보군요.
Were the
어땠어요?
coaching staff worried about
그렇죠.
today's
코치
series?
입장도 다른 거죠.
네 맞습니다.
Yes, I mean,
그리고 그 어제 창동
In addition
코치님이랑
to that,
되게
Trace
뱀픽 시뮬레이션도 되게
and
많이 해가지고
I did a lot of
그 부분에서 또
simulations
많은
with the
도움이
draft,
됐던 것
and that really helped us out a lot today.
그런 것들이 오늘 3등 승리 이끌어온 것 같고요. 트레이스 코치도 네.
And then
어떤
moving on to
생각이
Trace, how are you feeling qualifying for Worlds?
저는 톰처럼 잠을 못 자진 않았고
I didn't
되게
really
푹 잤고
like fail to
오늘
sleep,
선수들이
just like
끝나고
Tom
난
did. I had
그것처럼 약간
a good night's sleep.
당연히 이길 거라고 생각했기 때문에
And as the players
선수들을
mentioned,
믿고
I also thought
잠도
that we're gonna
푹
win
자고
for
이길
sure.
거라
So I
생각하고
slept well, and I knew that we were gonna get this win.
그러면 오늘 뭐 저희가 어쨌든 선발전 때 따로 POG를 선정하지는 않는데 혹시
We don't,
코치님 입장에서 뭔가
네.
POG를
vote for
선정한다면
POGs for
자체,
the Worlds
그럼요.
Gauntlet, but if you were to vote one, who's your POG?
한 명만 뽑는다고 약간 그런 느낌으로 말씀.
네.
Just one?
사실 뭐 전부 다 POG라고 하는 건 있지만.
I mean, everyone deserves the POG, so let's just kind of pick one.
POG. 그렇죠.
The Sears POG.
네, 오늘 POG는
Today's POG
코치로 하겠습니다.
will be Tom, our coach.
아 왜요? 왜?
Why? Why is that?
그러게요. 예, 밀어주고 당겨주고 왜? 선정의 근거는
아무래도 벤픽 준비 열심히 했으니까.
Because he worked so hard for this draft, and we were able to get a good result.
본인 입장에서는 되게
So I voted for Tom for POG.
농담입니다. 앞으로도 더 큰 활약 기대하도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다. 자, 그럼 이제 주영달 감독.
감사합니다.
롤드컵에서
back to Odin.
더 큰 활약 얘기해야 되지 않겠습니까? 그리고 많은 이제 그 전 세계 팬들이
You guys are now heading for
롤드컵에
Worlds.
지금
What's your resolution and mindset participating Worlds this year? It's been, you've been to Worlds for so many times since Samsung Galaxy. So as a head coach, what's your mindset for this year's Worlds journey?
말씀드리려고 했었는데 그 길을 이어받아서 이번에
Yeah, I was gonna mention Samsung the Dynasty.
월드컵
So
우승하고
with their energy, we will come back with the trophy.
네. 자, 그리고 그 선수 중에서도 각오한 말씀이라든가 끝으로 하고 싶은 말씀
Any players wanna make a statement for Worlds?
있으면 예. 주장이나 예. 네.
Roller, the captain,
든 남자 한 말씀.
on flowers
저희가
or behind the flowers.
올라가게 됐는데 힘들게
It was a
올라간 만큼
tough journey for us,
롤드컵에서
but
더
as we
좋은
made
모습 많이
it,
보여드릴 수 있도록
we will
노력했고
do our best to
지금까지
show
많이
better
응원해주셔서
performance at
감사하고
Worlds, and I
열심히 해서
appreciate all the
좋은
love and
모습
support
보여드리겠습니다.
from our fans, and we will work even harder for the Worlds.
네. 입을 가려서. 네. 다시 한번 오늘
Once again,
진출한 젠지
Huge
축하드리겠고요.
congratulations
롤드컵에서도
over to the Gen.G players and the teams and the coaching staff for qualifying for Worlds, and wish you the best of luck at Worlds. And this will be the end of the interview with the Gen.G squad, and I'm gonna pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ji-sun, as always, for the wonderful translation of the winner's interview. Gen.G will be moving on to Worlds alongside of DRX and Damwon from the Korea region. They do it again in the Gauntlet, as all things, all things are straight as they should be. Once again, history repeats itself, and man, big smackdown there. As, by the way, guys, we will have the World Championship draw show on September 15th, so make sure you guys are tuning into that.
It's my birthday. So I'm hoping for
Which is
good Korean group draws. Okay, there we go.
Funny fact is actually that your birthday is one day after mine, so we've got the caster synergy going, and either way, we'll definitely be interested to see which groups do end up happening throughout all of that. But it was a quick day today, guys. A clean sweep from Gen.G. They get the 3-0, and they will move on to Worlds very deservedly. So congratulations to them. Thank you, LS, for casting with me today and all season long. And we'll see you guys next time here at the LCK. Have a good night.
World has changed and I am ready to get on. Told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I